Why does God want you to suffer? This question is one that many of us wrestle with in our most vulnerable moments. Whether you're going through pain, loss, or hardship, there's something deeply unsettling about the idea that a loving God would allow suffering. So why does it happen? Why does He allow it? And more importantly, what is He trying to teach us through it? Welcome. I am Father Mortivus. Today, I want to invite you to think about suffering from a different perspective. Instead of running from it or questioning God's love when it comes, could there be a purpose to our pain? Could God be working in ways we don't immediately understand, ways that will ultimately shape us for something greater? I remember a time in my own life when I was overwhelmed with confusion and grief. It felt like everything I had trusted was falling apart. And during that time, I asked God, "Why me? Why this?" And in that moment, I didn't hear an audible answer. But looking back, I now see that it wasn't the question of why that needed to be answered. It was the question of what? What am I supposed to learn through this pain? What does God want me to understand? In James 1:2-4, it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." What does this mean? That our suffering isn't meaningless. It's not a random, cruel act. In fact, it's often the testing of our faith, a refining process that shapes us to be more like Christ. God doesn't want us to suffer for suffering's sake. He's not a distant deity who delights in our pain. But He knows that in our darkest moments, we are stripped of our pride, of our self-sufficiency, and we are finally open to receiving His grace in ways we wouldn't be if everything was going well. Have you ever noticed that it's in the storm, when you finally learn how to pray more deeply, how to trust more fully? When things are going smoothly, we tend to forget our dependence on Him. But in our suffering, we remember what it means to lean on God with everything we have. You see, God's goal in allowing suffering isn't to break us. It's to build us up, to make us stronger in faith, more compassionate, more reliant on Him. He knows that through pain, we can grow in ways that we never would through ease. Romans 5:3-5 tells us, "Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit, who has been given to us." So, what does this mean for us today? It means that there is hope even in the midst of pain. That suffering, though difficult, is not the end of the story. It's part of a bigger plan that God is unfolding in your life. Let's ask ourselves, what if God isn't punishing us? What if, in His deep love, He is shaping us for something more, something greater than we could ever imagine? So, the next time you face a trial, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn through this? How can God use this pain to refine my character, deepen my faith, and make me more like Christ?" And remember this: God is with you, even in the pain. His love for you doesn't change just because you're going through a hard time. In fact, He is closer to you than ever, ready to guide you through every storm. The goal is not to avoid suffering, but to understand the purpose in it. God is not abandoning you in your suffering. He's walking beside you, shaping you, and preparing you for something beautiful. Thank you for watching. If you found this message helpful, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you're never alone in your pain. God is with you and He's working through it.